Marcus drove a snowplow for the county, working the graveyard shift every winter along Route 12, a two-lane road that wound through the mountains, past the old quarry, and down into the valley where he lived with his wife, Renata. It was just after 2 a.m., snow coming down heavy, when his headlights caught a man standing at the edge of the overlook. No coat, no hat, dressed in an old gray suit, waving both arms for Marcus to stop. In this kind of cold, that meant trouble. Hypothermia, a stranded car, something. But something about the way the man stood, too still between the waves, like a puppet resetting, made the hair on Marcus's neck stand up. He'd heard the old guys at the depot joke about the overlook. He kept driving. 4 miles down, where Route 12 bent hard around Miller's Ridge, his headlights found the man again. Same gray suit, same slow wave, standing at the exact edge of the guardrail like he'd been planted there. Marcus's foot went to the floor. There was no road connecting the overlook to the ridge, nothing but sheer drop and pine forest between them. No man could have crossed that on foot, not in 10 minutes, not in an hour. He didn't slow down again until he was home, and he didn't tell Renata why his hands were shaking when he came through the door. A week later, Renata insisted on riding along. She wanted to see the plow work, wanted the company on a slow Tuesday night. Marcus didn't want to take Route 12 again, but the county didn't give him a choice. Sure enough, past the overlook, the man was there. Same spot, same suit. Renata grabbed Marcus's arm so hard it left a mark, and neither of them said a word as they drove past. The last time, it was nearly 40 miles from the mountain, down near the shuttered mill at the edge of town, close to midnight. Marcus was driving Renata home from her sister's. He saw the man standing just outside the mill gates, and this time the man didn't wave. He just watched the truck approach, and as they passed, he turned his head to follow them. Slow, unnatural, like his neck didn't work the way necks are supposed to. Marcus didn't speak. He drove straight home, checked every lock in the house twice, and never took Route 12 again, not even in daylight, not even when the county threatened to write him up for it. Some things aren't worth the miles you save. Deb drove long-haul freight for a logistics company out of Ohio, and her favorite route was the overnight run down Route 70 through the flatlands. 6 hours of empty highway, truck stops every 50 miles, and nothing to keep her company but a thermos of coffee and the hum of the CB radio. It was just past 2 a.m. somewhere past mile marker 140 when her headlights caught a man standing on the shoulder, hitchhiker's stance, thumb out, wearing a faded work jacket like a trucker from another decade. Deb didn't stop for hitchhikers, ever. Company policy and common sense both said no. But something about him made her skin crawl before she could even say why. He wasn't shivering in the cold, and his thumb never moved, held out rigid like it had been nailed there. She kept her foot on the gas and didn't look in the mirror. 60 miles later, at the exit for the next truck stop, a full hour's drive from where she'd seen him, the same man was standing under the sodium lights of the fuel pumps, thumb still out, same faded jacket, watching her cab roll past. No car in the lot besides hers, no other trucks. Deb's hands went white on the wheel. She didn't stop for fuel that night, even though her tank was low enough to worry her. And she ran the numbers over and over. 60 miles, an hour, no highway access between those 2 points that a man on foot could have used. She white-knuckled it to the next town and filled up under the brightest lights she could find. Weeks later, her trainee, a nervous kid named Owen doing his ride-along hours, begged to take the overnight route with her. He wanted the long-haul experience, said the daytime runs were boring him to death. Deb didn't want to take Route 70 again, but the schedule didn't care what she wanted. Sure enough, past mile marker 140, the man was there. Same shoulder, same rigid thumb. Owen went quiet and pale and didn't say a word for 20 miles, and Deb didn't explain because there was nothing she could say that would make it make sense. The last time was almost 2 months later, 400 miles away at a truck stop. Diner outside a completely different state, on a completely different route. Deb was sitting in a booth eating eggs at 3 a.m. when she looked up and he was standing outside the window, thumb down now, palm flat against the glass, staring directly at her like he'd never lost her trail at all. He mouthed something she couldn't hear through the glass. Deb left her food on the table, paid at the register without looking back at the window, and drove straight through the rest of her shift on adrenaline alone. She requested a permanent reassignment to daytime regional routes the next week, took the pay cut without complaint, and told her dispatcher she'd take any excuse rather than another overnight haul. My name is Sav. So this happened over about 2 months, and I still don't really know what to make of it. I've told this story a few times, and people always want me to say it was a ghost. And honestly, I can't. That's the part that gets me. If it was a ghost, fine. I could file it away. It's the not knowing that won't leave me alone. I drive tanker freight, diesel mostly, down Route 50 in Nevada. They call it the loneliest road for a reason. You go 100 miles some nights without seeing another set of headlights. So it's around 1 a.m. I'm 40 miles into this stretch, and my lights catch a woman on the shoulder. Hiking boots, backpack, thumb out. Totally normal. That's what I need you to understand. There was nothing wrong with her. If anything, that's what unsettled me later. Because normal is easy to miss the first time. I don't pick up hitchhikers on solo runs. That's just the rule. So I slow down, kind of wave sorry through the windshield, and keep going. And I check my mirror. I always check my mirror. And she's just standing there, not waving back, not looking annoyed like you'd expect, just watching my taillights go. I didn't think much of it. You see all kinds of people out there. Then, about an hour later, and there's nothing on that stretch. No side roads, no trail access. I know that road. I see her again, same spot, or close enough I couldn't swear to the difference. Same backpack. And I remember thinking, okay, that's a coincidence. That's a different hiker. Maybe there's a trailhead I don't know about. I didn't slow down enough to really look. I think some part of me didn't want to. Couple weeks pass. New DOT rule kicks in. I've got my coworker Priya riding with me on the long hauls now. We're coming up on that same stretch, and she just sits up out of nowhere and goes, "Isn't picking her up against policy?" And my stomach just drops, because I hadn't said one word to her about any of this. She'd seen a woman too. So I asked her, kind of carefully, what was she wearing? And Priya describes a different jacket, different hair even. And I don't know if that means it was 2 different people, or if one of us just remembered it wrong. Neither of us really wanted to keep talking about it, so we didn't. The last one, this is the one I can't shake. I'm off duty, 500 miles from that route, filling up my own car in some town I've never even hauled through. And a woman walks past the pumps with a backpack on one shoulder. And for half a second, my whole body just goes cold, like ice water down my spine, because I am sure it's her. And then she turns around and it's nobody. Just a tired-looking stranger in normal boots walks into the gas station, buys whatever she's buying, gone. I sat in my car for 10 minutes after that. Couldn't tell you why. Couldn't tell you if I'd actually seen anything strange at all, or if my brain had just glued 3 ordinary women together into one, because that felt easier than the alternative, which is that someone or something had been keeping track of my route the whole time. I put in for a transfer off nights the next week. Didn't give my dispatcher a real reason. Honestly, I don't have one I can say out loud without sounding like I've lost it. And I don't have one I can talk myself out of either. That's where I've been stuck ever